Love triangles are aplenty on the third episode of Bachelor in Paradise, leaving several cast members unsure of where they stand. Here's our recap. The August 14 episode of Bachelor in Paradise picks up with Colton and Becca Kufrin's conversation. After her surprise visit to Mexico, Colton admits that he buried his real feelings when Becca broke up with him on The Bachelorette. He finally asks her what he's been wondering all this time. Did she break up with him because Tia had feelings for him? Becca insists the breakup had nothing to do with Tia, even though she saw her that same day. She gives Colton a pep talk to help him push through, and he's able to get closure after the conversation. The moment concludes with Colton realizing he's ready to open up in paradise and see where things can go. Meanwhile, Annalisa and Jordan are hitting it off, and she's super confident in their relationship and possibility of a future together. That all changes when Jenna walks in, though. She immediately catches Jordan's attention, and it seems the feeling's mutual. Jenna asks Jordan to go on a date with her. Despite his connection to Annalisa, Jordan is beyond smitten with Jenna, so naturally, he says yes. Jenna and Jordan instantly click on their date, and it ends in a pretty steamy make-out session. Annalisa doesn't seem to see the instant chemistry between Jenna and Jordan, and some of the other girls in the house are worried about how unaware she is about his feelings. When Jenna and Jordan get back, Annalisa finally gets a glimpse at just how fast things progressed between them. Jordan flat out admits to Annalisa that his romantic connection with Jenna is greater than what he had with her. But don't worry, he'll still hold a place for Annalisa in his heart if Jenna eventually decides she doesn't want to be with him. Eye roll. Obviously, Annalisa ends up in tears. As Jordan is dealing with Annalisa and raving to everyone else about how much he likes Jenna, Jenna spends some one-on-one time with Jordan's nemesis, David. Jordan returns in the middle of their conversation, and makes it clear that he's not happy. When David leaves, Jordan rants about him for several minutes, but Jenna admits she doesn't think he's so bad. There are other connections forming in Paradise, too, though. Despite getting a rose from Nisha last week, Eric starts getting close to Angela. Plus, Kevin and Astrid are hitting things off, as are Kenny and Crystal, Joe and Kendall, and Tia and Chris. Girls like Bibiana, Annalisa, Chelsea and Nisha are obviously worried about the upcoming rose ceremony. And then more competition arrives when Caroline shows up. Caroline is super nervous and awkward around the guys, but finally, she has a pretty comfortable conversation with John, and chooses him for her date. However, Annalisa finds herself interested in John, as well, and wants to make her move if things don't go well between him and Caroline. John and Caroline do hit it off, but both she and Annalisa are about to have even more competition. Jubilee is the next girl to arrive, and she sets her eye on John, too. Awkwardly, Jubilee asks John out on a date right as he's cuddling with Caroline. And he says yes. Caroline makes a point to try to get to know other people throughout the day, but she admittedly still feels the most connected to John. Meanwhile, Kenny makes a big romantic gesture by planning a night on the beach for Crystal, but she admits that she might not be on the same page as him. She urges him to explore other connections if he's interested in anyone else. As for Tia and Chris, she's very invested in him, and he assures her that he sees potential in their relationship and that she shouldn't worry about him being interested in other girls. That seems to all change when Crystal expresses an interest in Chris, though, and after they spend some time together, they start making out. Despite telling Tia that he's committed to her, Chris starts making plans to spend alone time with multiple girls. Colton fills Tia in on what went down between Chris and Crystal because he doesn't want to see her get hurt, and she's pissed. She wastes no time confronting Chris about it, but we'll have to wait until next week to see the aftermath of their conversation.